All right, tonight what we're going to be talking about are ions. And ions, as we've learned before, are things with positive or negative charges. And the positive charge periodic trend, it comes from first losing an electron. And whenever you lose an electron, you are called a cation, and you are positive, as you remember from the previous unit. And what you need to know is that metals tend to lose electrons. Sodium will lose one electron. Why? Because it has one valence electron. So it has two options. It can either gain 7 to make a full octet or lose that one. And it's always going to choose the easiest route, and it's easier to lose 1 than to gain 7 to make 8. Those are your only options. Gain enough to make 8 or lose enough to make 0. Because sodium has one valence electron, it is going to choose to lose that electron. And by doing that, it gets a positive 1 charge, and it is known as a sodium ion. Now the trend is it gets smaller than the atomic size. And why? Because you are losing the electron. So the ion is smaller than the atom. Remember from the previous unit, atoms are neutral, ions have charges. So Ca is larger than Ca plus 2, and it just makes sense. You're losing something. Why visually? Well, let's look at it. So this is sodium, and sodium has one valence electron. And what it could do is either gain 7 or it's going to lose that 1. Well, it's going to choose to lose that 1, so it basically loses out or misses this entire outer electron shell, and it goes to the next one, or the second energy level, which is this guy right here. And because of that, it gets smaller. So once again, losing smaller. Just think of losing weight or gaining weight. Or what are you going to do? You're going to get smaller if you lose. You're going to gain if you're going to get larger if you gain. All right, so here's the general trend looking. If you just compare left to right, lithium as an ion gets smaller, sodium as an ion gets smaller, potassium as an ion gets smaller, and rubidium as an ion gets smaller. Each time as you lose an electron, you get smaller. All right, with negative charges, what a negative charge comes from is by gaining an electron, and we learned that too from the previous unit. These are called anions, a negative ion. And nonmetals tend to have negative charges. Why? If you look at fluorine, fluorine has 7 valence electrons, and so it can either gain 1 or lose that 7th. So what is it going to do? It is going to gain 1 to make 8. Remember, everybody either wants 8 or 0. Fluorine in this case will choose to gain 1, which means it gained 1 negative charge, so it now has an F minus 1. It is called a fluoride ion. Whenever you have a negative, you drop the last syllable and add an IDE or ide ion. So a nitrogen would be a nitride ion. Oxygen would be an oxide ion. Okay, anything that had, you would just drop that syllable and add the IDE. What happens with this is it makes sense, similar thought process as the other one with negatives. You are going to be gaining, so therefore you are larger as an ion than the atom. So F is smaller than F minus, or F minus, the ion, is larger than F. And here's the picture. So you have F gaining 1 electron, okay, to make it a full octet. So now that one has 8 valence electrons, which makes F happy. And so therefore its charge is a negative 1. And if you look at all of these trends, as you gain 1, you always get larger. All right, that's it for trends. Remember, think about gaining and losing weight. Positives equal smaller, because you've lost an electron. Negatives means you gained an electron, so you are larger. All right, have a great night.